Government has asked the Chancellor of the Kpone Katamanso University of Science and Technology, KNUST, the Asantehene Otumfuo Osei-Tutu II, to take steps to reconstitute a new governing council in accordance with the institution's relevant statutes and laws.
Now, this comes days after the KNUST's governing council was dissolved and another interim council was set up to manage the day-to-day activities of the school for 3 months. This decision was announced at an interministerial meeting with the University Teachers Association of Ghana, UTAG, later today. CitI News' Caleb Koda was a fly on the wall in that meeting.
The meeting lasted more than 2 hours, with both sides holding caucus meetings intermittently. At last, a press conference was jointly addressed. Information Minister Kojo Opoku shared details of the release.
The council was dissolved because government holds it ultimately responsible for the failure to adequately manage internal matters of the university, leading to a breakdown of law and order. The interim measures were necessary to protect lives and property. Now, today, Monday, 29th of October 2018, government requested the Chancellor of the University, Otumfuo Osei-Tutu, to lead the next steps in reconstituting the University Council in accordance with the University Statute and relevant laws. Council is expected to be reconstituted by Friday, November 2nd, 2018.
And we stay with that particular story, and the minority in Parliament is calling for the removal of the Minister of Education, Matthew Opoku Prempeh, and the Minister of State in charge of tertiary education, Professor Kojo Yankah, over the KNUST impasse. According to the minority leader, Haruna Idrisu, both ministers have in previous actions supported the under-fire Vice-Chancellor of the university, Professor Obri Danso.
The minority in Parliament, we absolutely denounce government's unlawful conduct in dissolving the Council of the University. We demand the immediate reversal of that illegal act. If the President respects the laws of Ghana, he must. We decry the attempt to scapegoat the Vice-Chancellor of the University, Professor Obri Danso, and to hold him solely responsible for the current crisis. Childish, to say the least. Just because there is an impasse between students and management and the Vice-Chancellor, go home. Suffice it to say, then we can stretch it. So it means that all those who endorse it must go home. That will include the Honorable Minister for Education, Dr. Matthew Opoku Prempeh, and Professor Yankah, who has been Dean of Students before, at least at my time in Lagos.
Meanwhile, members of the Senior Staff Association, the Ghana Association of University Administrators, the Tertiary Education Workers Union, and University Teachers Association of Ghana of the Kpone Katamanso University of Science and Technology demonstrated on campus this morning over the dissolution of the school's governing council.
The no VC, no work chants dominated the demonstration by members of the Teachers and Education Workers Union of the KNUST. Hundreds of the members who converged on the commercial area marched through campus. They were clad in red amidst chants and held placards calling for the dissolved council to be restored. Other placards had inscriptions like, "Restore dissolved council, Professor Obri Danso has done a good work," and many others.
Let's get on to some other stories. And a demonstration by the Coalition of Unemployed Bonded Nurses and Midwives ended abruptly earlier today as 5 of the protesters were arrested by the police.
Now, the 5 were arrested for defying orders of the police not to march to the Jubilee House. The coalition was demonstrating to demand permanent postings from government.
The demonstration, which was expected to end at the Jubilee House by 11 a.m., however, ended at around 2 p.m. near Paloma, less than a 5-minute drive from the starting point of the demonstration, that's the Obra Sport. Demanding permanent postings from government, some members of the coalition were unhappy over the inability of their leaders to lead them to their scheduled end point. The police had instructed them to end their protest at the Hearts Park, a situation that resulted in leadership calling of the demonstration to dialogue for a permit to end at the Jubilee House.
Some NPP polling station executives within the Kpone Katamanso constituency are calling for a probe into the activities of the Kpone Katamanso Municipal Chief Executive, Solomon Tete Appiah. The executives accused Mr. Tete Appiah of abuse of office and alleged corruption. CITI News' Tema correspondent is Elvis Washington, and he has more in this report.
The press conference was held at Atadeka, a community within the Kpone Katamanso constituency. The members, numbering about 100, carried placards with inscriptions such as "Solo is corrupt," "Solomon Appiah must be sacked," "Mr. President, please investigate corruption at KKMA," "Mr. President, Kpone Katamanso MPP is collapsing," among others. The spokesperson for the group, Samuel Osai, who is a member of the Kpone Katamanso Communications Group, leveled several allegations of corruption against the MCE.
Giving 4 school feeding projects to the wife of the MCE, including Sabripo A and B, Kpone Methodist, and Kpone SHS. The names of these projects can be changed, but the payment source still remains the same. He is paying his brother 3,000 a month for consultancy services on the work that the municipal environmental health is already doing.
For many people, being diagnosed with a stroke marks the beginning of the end of their lives. But a stroke, which is triggered when the blood supply to part of the brain is cut off, is treatable. On World Stroke Day today, Eugenia Tinkrine takes a look at that one ingredient in the recovery process that keeps stroke patients going.
1 out of every 6 people risks getting a stroke in the world, but others stand a higher chance of getting the disease, commonly referred to as brain attack.
So if you have high blood pressure, your chances of getting a stroke is about 7 to 8 times that of the general public. Some other factors that could be involved could be diabetes, high blood sugar. That also increases the risk. Then people with high cholesterol levels and people who are obese or very heavy, who are on the big side, they have a higher chances of getting strokes as well. We have an acronym, we call it FAST. So for the face, usually if you notice that the person's face has moved to one side or his mouth has twisted to one side and he can't move one side of the face. The A for the arm, sometimes the person can't move one arm, or sometimes it goes to the leg, the person can't move one leg as well. And then the S stands for speech. So you notice a change in the way the person is speaking. It might become muffled, or they can't speak at all. And then the T stands for time, meaning that it's time to get to the hospital.